There we go. Recording. Joy. Well, so, some interesting stuff has happened. Oh wait, I should introduce myself first. Okay. I am your host, as always, the Archivist, and with me is...
I'm Ken.
He's Ken now.
Yeah.
And, some crazy shit's going on in the media. I just gotta comment on, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because, okay, first off, anything you've seen in the media that, I don't know, that you're worth
Any
commenting?
evidence of the movie Mordecai just makes me angry.
Yeah, when I first heard that the movie Mordecai comes out, I was like, wait, they're making a movie on regular show?
Yeah, it's much, much worse.
Sure. I don't know if it could be much worse because the Christmas episode. You've seen the Christmas episode of a regular show?
Yeah.
Mordecai's ex-girlfriend comes back.
Yeah, well...
It's like he's making this worse for himself. It's like, you'd like to think that, wouldn't you? Well, because, okay, here's what happens. He fears, because he has a new girlfriend. He broke up with the other bird girl, the red bird girl. And he gets with Nimbus, the cloud girl. I don't know how that works. But yeah, he's the girl. He's in a relationship with Cloud Girl. The red bird comes back, and for the Christmas party that they have at the park house, and he's afraid he's going to make a bad move and just get everyone pissed off at him. What ends up happening is that when they get back together and try to leave on good terms, or be on good terms, and they have a nostalgic moment, they open their eyes and realize that they're kissing, and Cloud Girl sees them. She runs off. He runs up to the room trying to get his keys, and all of a sudden comes across all these boxes. And he says, keys. Like, what are these boxes? Why do they say Margaret's summer wear? Margaret being the girlfriend. Like, what? Why is there stuff there? And then his friend's girlfriend walks in and says, oh, right, I probably should have told you. Yeah, she's going to be my roomie because she has to spend the summer, spring semester here. So she's going to be across the hall from you.
So she's like, oh.
Like, wow. Like, him screwing up was bad enough. Now she has to stay with him.
Yeah.
At work, I'm guessing work at the, or at least stay at with them. It's like, oh, that's good writers. I like that.
Yeah.
Not just he screws up, the situation makes it that much worse. Oh god, that's good writing there.
Yeah. No,
But wait, tying it in with Mordecai, it's like, what if someone made a video, like took the trailer audio from the movie Mordecai,
right,
and then spliced it in with footage from regular shows Mordecai, putting in like those things.
To what purpose?
Just
because they're both called Mordecai? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, that movie. Those trailers make me so angry. And it's out now and people are watching it.
Want to go see that next?
No.
We could throw tomatoes at the screen. I'm
No.
pretty sure they sell tomatoes
Yeah,
here.
that's probably. we could throw spicy tuna at the screen.
Well, it's not like I'm going to eat all of it. It's a lot here.
Yeah. Oh man, and the trailer for that. Is it Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty? Cinderella. Where there is kindness, there's goodness, and where there's goodness, there's magic. I was in the theater with my cousins watching Mockingjay, and well, we wasn't watching it yet. We were watching the trailers, and that came on, and I exploded into laughter because she said, with all dead seriousness, with all of her acting talent, where there's kindness, there's goodness. Do you guys remember? What's it called? A movie about a male model, Zoolander. When he's the merman, and he says, the essence of moisture is wetness. It's the same thing. It's a joke. How do they not see it's a joke? It was hilarious. And there's so much emotion in that line, in that trailer. It's supposed to mean something to us. Who is going to watch this movie and say, goodness does come with kindness? I can't understand. Anyway, there was that awful Divergent.
I still have no idea
trailer.
what the hell that's about.
Well, I mean, the trailer's this weird dream sequence.
Yeah, it's like, that's right. It's like, it's supposed to be like The Matrix, sort of? Or something. I don't know.
And by the way, I'm not totally against a trailer in a series being a dream sequence, but that was a boring dream sequence and told us nothing. And then
That's what I was afraid of.
and then oh man, and then with the Mordecai trailer, and I was angry. Anyway, I don't go to the theater to watch a lot of super mainstream stuff. I watch some like
Mostly with me.
well, okay, but I mean like we watch harder sci-fi. I watch horror films. I watch dramas and documentaries and indie stuff. So I kind of miss the mainstream comedy trailers. And sometimes see children's movies, and those trailers make me mad. But I know that oftentimes the trailers make the movies look worse than they are for children's movies. Thank you so much. Names.
May I?
The guys that made Shrek.
Shrek?
The company.
Oh.
Fishing Rod.
Dreams something.
DreamWorks. Thanks a lot, DreamWorks. And then Pixar followed suit, and everyone did. But
May I go on a rant?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to clarify this from last time as
Yeah.
well. Okay, I finally figured it out. I believe I finally figured it out. I believe I finally have the answer for
this
you.
is quite a segue.
No, this is going back to
Yeah.
last year and everything. This is going back a good while. Okay, in my last review, last time we did this, I talked about how there was a certain trailer I did not like, but I never gave the movie title, which was Loud and Incredibly Close.
Yes.
Now, this
I
is
didn't like
my
that trailer
current
either.
answers or figuring out of why I don't like that trailer,
Yeah.
and thus the movie, and never watch it. One, I know 9/11 affected people in various different ways. I don't need to see a movie to know that. Secondly, this is pretty good. Just because Tom Hanks is in it doesn't mean I'm going to go see it just because I am a fan of Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Okay. Third, now this is most important here. This is very important. The main selling point of this is the lead character is the boy, right?
Yes.
Because this is his adventure.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
it is said, not shown, said to us, he sees the world in a different way.
Right.
Do we see that? No.
Only a little bit. Like you could fill that in with your own imagination from the trailer. Like it wasn't totally absent, but they didn't give us a hook. Like we didn't get to see what's interesting and different about how he sees the world.
Yes, and that's the problem. They showed everything else but that. It's like they just took out the core and said, "Oh, everything else will just make it sell itself." It's like, no. That's the hook. That's the thing you should have. That should
But
have.
clearly, for many audiences, the hook is just it's emotional. It's about real stuff. There's a kid and there's not.
Yeah, there's this journey. There's the celebrity dad. You know, there's all this other stuff, and it's patriotic. It speaks to every American, and it's like those are all good angles. Those are okay.
Yeah.
But those are not the things you should focus on.
No, those aren't plot.
Yeah, and so it just
Or necessarily style, which is style is another thing a movie can be. It doesn't have to be about plot, but
so that's what just bugs me is that they're going after everything else, but what really matters. Because you're supposed to understand and sympathize with this character,
Yeah.
but you don't.
Okay, so
because you don't. You're never shown what we're supposed to like about him. We're
Yeah.
told what we should like about him, but we never really see it.
yeah, okay, no, I agree with all that. I don't know. I mean, if trailers are supposed to tell you whether or not you're going to like a movie, and we accept that they do that well, then obviously that's like a reason to take a pass on the film. I tend not to trust trailers too much.
Yeah, they lie.
Well, they're just
The power of editing, people.
yeah. I don't even know if they can really. I don't even know if it's possible for a trailer to tell you if you're going to like a movie, but there's a portion of the population that views films as words. Like the movies speak to them. They say a message. They articulate a mood. They fly a flag. And I think a lot of movies that sort of are life-affirming or are political do this. Life-affirming and political aren't the same thing, but they both oftentimes occupy this space. And I think for those people, that's all you need. You need the movie to say what side it represents and whose corner it's in, and then say if it's going to be gross or not, and that's enough. That's all I need to know, and that's fine. That's completely not what interests me in films. But I don't think it's completely invalid either. It's just, to me, it seems like read an article or read a book, but, you know.
Well, the one thing that got me back some years ago, like 08, 09, 07 or 08, something like that, was when my big, because I go through very different fandoms, and the fandom I was big into at the time was Superman. Superman was big at the time.
In 08? In 08? I feel like it was earlier than that, but okay.
Or it could have been earlier, I can't remember, but the movie...
I feel like in 08, but then it was pretty much Doctor Who.
What was that documentary movie on George Reeves?
Yeah.
What was that movie called?
You're talking about a documentary, or you're talking about a biopic?
The biopic.
Okay, that was, what was that?
I forget what it was called, but it was supposed to, the trailer, you know, it showed, this is the guy, about the actor that played Superman, you know.
Right, well, it was also kind of the mystery of his life.
So I thought this would be kind of interesting to go see, And the thing is that when I saw that movie, they put in a lot of the heavy reality, you know, all the downside of being Superman and everything, and how human this character was. And it's like, oh my God, I feel like shit, because I'm a big fan. And then you see all this real stuff, and it's like there's nothing good about this film at all. And then the lead character,
the detective guy. Are you saying there's nothing good about the film? Or are you saying that the movie portrays nothing good about his life?
That.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so one-sided, you know, that being Superman is this big terrible thing, you know, that it was never fun for him.
It was, yeah. I mean, the main thing is that it was a stigma and a burden afterwards, right?
And it's just, it's like it showed like he never had a happy moment while being in those in costume or being in his titles. Like, I'm pretty sure he had some happy moment at some point.
But if that's but in the expanse of a film, if that's not what's important to his experience with it, that's not really important to the film. I mean,
it just really made me feel, well, lack of a better term, made me feel like crap.
Yeah.
I felt like going home and just lying down and just lying there for a while.
But also like you know, I mean, the age of the nerd is probably coming to a close, but currently it's still there, and you know, remembering what it was like as a kid, and actually when we were kids, it wasn't bad to be a nerd. It's just that all media said that nerds had it rough, so we believed it.
Especially the nerd series.
But by then, because all the media was saying that, already people were sympathetic to nerds, and also everyone is a nerd, but almost everyone.
Well, by then, nerds were already ruling the world anyway.
That was never not true. It's just that it was different, but but effectively, Superman is about Superman being, that's kid stuff. Yeah, it's kid stuff, and the whole movie is about how that stigma was disastrous for this
guy who wants to be serious,
and arguably was also in a way being childish, and then it was all about hopes and dreams and that. But whatever. So that's something that you could even relate to.
Well, yes, but I
specifically
went there,
about that. Yeah.
But that's not what I want to go into. I thought it was going to be a bit of a heart struggle, a bit more, something less dark. That's what
interesting.
I know it's going to have heavy, dark elements, but I think the entire movie was going to be about that.
See, that was not a surprise for me going in from those trailers.
It just seemed a bit much for me.
I'd seen a lot more movies of that kind at that time, probably than you were accustomed to.
I stay away from things like that.
Yeah.
It's too sad. It's just too sad. It just shows too much of the downside of life, and it's just like there is balance here, guys. There has to be some moment of.
But a movie doesn't have to represent that. Like, I think that's.
I know, but it's a Superman film. I thought there'd be.
It's not a Superman film. Well, it's a George Reeves film.
I know, George Reeves film, but I know he was going to die. I know the backstory. You know, I heard about and learned about his career. To have the documentaries and everything, and the way everyone else was talking about it, it's like, well, there must be something good, something a bit more balanced in this film, and there just wasn't, and nothing was resolved, and just the character, after going through all this, realized, I'm going to stop drinking and be a better person. That's it. It's like, how did you come to that conclusion? Oh, I just did. I just saw this guy, and somehow it just inspired me to just be better. Yeah. It's like,
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I actually agree with that. But
I didn't believe it. It just seemed more like, well, we got to film this film, and somebody has to have some sort of resolution.
Incidentally, there are flaws in that film that both Greg and I respond to, and something that oftentimes happens is that I'll look at flaws as specifically as story flaws, whereas Greg will moralize or internalize them. I'm not saying that one is better, but there's a distinct divide here, and while I disagree with the way he's portraying it emotionally and kind of the anger he's expressing, I think that all of my problems with the movie were exactly the same with how the movie actually was, what its structure was, are exactly the same as what Greg's were. And that, like, for me, it was just that the end was flat.
Yeah.
The build at the beginning was cool, and in the middle was interesting, but it wasn't building to much. The way they balanced the payoff of the build-up wasn't very strong, especially regarding the detective.
Yeah. But why was he even in that?
No, that's the thing, is if it had been more about him, the movie would have had a whole lot better structure, and if it had actually just been about Chris Reeve, then we don't need the detective.
Yeah.
And
that's what I kept thinking, like, who is this movie more about? George Reeves or the detective? And
I liked the detective a lot, but he wasn't really what the movie was about. But yeah, for me that's not depressing, that's just a waste of my time.
Yeah. This is one movie I thought I would bring up. It's called, get this, The Greatest Thief in the World.
Yeah.
You want to take a gander at what that's about?
It's about a thief.
No.
It's about a policeman.
Nope.
It's about a little girl.
Close.
Yeah, a little boy?
Yes.
Dog. Okay.
It's a little boy. What does this little boy do? He jumps through windows on a high-rise, an apartment structure, to his neighbor's apartments, and kind of bums around there for a bit.
Okay, see, I'm sold. Like, that sounds awesome to me.
Thank you.
Oh, do you want to know how it ends?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, you can tell me. It's fine.
All right. Let's see here. How does that go again? Oh, yes. He lights a fire in one of the rooms.
Right.
Burns down the hotel.
Fantastic.
On the drive to somewhere new, he tells his mom he's the one that burned it down. She gets mad at him, realizes she can't really do anything about that. Then the movie ends.
The movie ends.
That's it.
Oh, man. Like, I love that.
There, I just saved you $1.50. You're welcome.
I mean, obviously he's leaving some things out, but maybe
No,
they're
I'm
not
not.
important.
I'm not.
Yeah. No. It sounds like a misfire, but it sounds like they were trying to do the right thing. Like, I'm totally sold about. I love it when the title is the delusion of the main character. I love that.
I think he was just bored out of his skull.
Yeah. No. I think that's an interesting motivation for a character, as long as they can still raise stakes, not by accident. It sounds like that's what they did.
The tension and high point of the movie is him leaping from one window to the next.
Yeah.
And will he get caught?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was
good.
Cool,
it had me good for those 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that 5 minutes was actually interesting because this is this kid's morally and more imaginative adventure that he creates for himself. You know?
Yeah.
It's just it's like, where is this going?
Well, I mean, it was obviously going towards a growing moment, but I think that the way we look back at childhood, we oftentimes paint growing moments as these blunt things that you sort of crash through, and that's not true. And it's as complex growing as a child as it is as an adult. If not more so, it just happens faster.
Okay, if you like that one, let me tell you another.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one. I keep finding this stuff in the middle of the night. I was like, I should watch better movies, but anyway, this is one I saw, and it's like, who's the bigger monster? Basically, is the theme of this thing.
Yeah, that's the theme of every horror film.
All right.
Almost every single one that works. There are some exceptions because horror is a broad genre.
Okay, so there's this guy. He's a stalker / child killer, molester, something or other. And
is this the one who's got the red ball on the cover?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I don't remember there being
Kevin
red
Bacon?
ball. No, it's not.
Okay.
There was this guy. He had kidnapped a girl before, made friends online, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I believe the backstory was that he killed her, and then, like, her friend or associate or friend or something like that pretends to be taken under, the same process to his house.
Is this Hard Candy?
Is that what it is? I can't remember the title.
Is it Ellen Page?
The girl from The Professional, right? or looks like the girl from Professional.
I mean,
Short hair.
More than a
Did
decade
she have
apart.
short hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, here, let me go through the rest of it. So
Yeah.
she tricks him into drinking the.
Are you gonna finish that?
No, I'll.
All right. You want to move to the car?
Yeah.
I know this movie.
He knows this movie. All right, let me pause this. Okay, so we're back.
So you're talking about Hard Candy.
I believe it was Hard Candy. All right. Yeah, so Hard Candy. Yeah, so she knocks him out, plays all these freaking mind games with him, but somehow manages to convince him to not kill her for her monologue. And monologue after monologue after monologue, he finally chases her up onto the roof. She eventually convinces him to kill himself by hanging, just as his girlfriend drives into the driveway and sees him. And then she climbs down, goes under the fence, down a hill, meets up with her friend to go to the mall. Like, nothing's wrong. I think this is one of the more screwed up movies I've seen, because it's like the hero is the bigger monster. That's your hero, folks. She's the bigger monster.
How is she the bigger monster?
She manipulates the manipulator into taking his own life.
Oh, when you say monster, what do you mean by monster?
It's
Are you talking about like horror and evil, or are you talking about power by the end?
Not that power. It's morality. It's like she has like less morality than the child molester killer stalker person.
How does she have less?
She
at worst it seems like she has the same.
She has like no remorse for him at all, and it's like, how can someone be this heartless and manipulative? It's just like such a person shouldn't exist. I know it probably does, but it just seems it's like how can she have? It's like how can she function in the rest of the world even before or after this? Doesn't really.
That's a different question.
I just don't understand. It feels more like the bigger monster won, and it's this 14-year-old girl. You know, she doesn't battle him. She convinces him, you know, in all these different ways. Like, she's the one in power. She's the one in control. And, like, that's so scary that this little thing is now more capable than the adult, you know? And it's just, like, it just feels bad letting her run off into the world again. Because it's like, now she's out into the world. It's like I wouldn't want someone like that running around.
Okay, no, I understood. But again, how is she worse than he is?
She's
morally.
She's the bigger manipulator.
The bigger manipulator, or just the superior manipulator?
Okay, the superior manipulator.
Because I think that if you,
I can understand her motivation.
If you just like shooting people, and you go around shooting people because you get off on it, and then I shoot you with a bigger gun from a further distance because I have a better skill at that, I'm not more evil than you.
It's just a film I was just not, I don't know, maybe in a time in my life I was not ready for. Because I probably haven't seen Dexter yet or something.
So, like, that's interesting. I mean, no, she's scary and she's messed up and da-da-da, and the movie is a primal scream against child abuse, and he's the one in power. She has to use the sneaky sideways to do it. But it's funny that you say that what was scary about it was the child having more power than the adult, when every single story you write is about children triumphing over adults.
Yes, but these are, now let me do air quotations here, the hero. She doesn't strike me as the heroic type.
She's absolutely the hero of the story. It's a vengeance story.
It's a vengeance story.
But so are most of the hero movies like that are out there.
Yes, but she does not seem like a good person to me. Just doesn't.
Well, you don't see her in her regular life. You only see her on her vengeance quest.
Yes.
And she doesn't like slaughter a bunch of
puppies,
goons to do it. Okay. Like, her body count, the body count that she leaves behind her is way lower than like anything from Death Wish or Die Hard or anything like that.
Yes.
Property damage is less.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what didn't make me buy it, was that we didn't see her, you know, her normal life, and then the traumatic event that happened that made her go on her revenge quest. Maybe that's what was missing. Well, I haven't exactly seen the beginning. I think it came in at the 20-minute mark or something like that. So I might have missed it.
Well, she was taking revenge for her friend.
For her friend, yes. I think that was more.
I don't think hard candy's awesome, per se. That's not what I'm saying. I actually think that it could have used more depth, but I do think as far as just effectively a 2-character movie, it's all about tension. It did a pretty good job. I'm just not buying that some guy in a house who meets teenage girls, rapes them and kills them, is better than a girl that talks him into killing himself.
It just doesn't feel right to me. That's, in the end.
I mean, so like, in a lot of revenge movies, something that's missing is well, okay, this is an argument I have with my brother. I actually think that people can do horrible things and not be damaged by them. I think it's a thing that happens. I think some people, depends on the horrible thing, right?
Yeah.
Some people...
what's her name? The season 3 or 4 love interest for Dexter, the girl, the Barrel Girl survivor, number 13, she was traumatized, and then after the revenge thing, she had to leave because now her revenge is over. She can go back to being a normal person. So,
and I don't know that you go back to being a normal person because you're probably already a little bit weird, but normal people do bad things. This is already like this is within the scope of human ability. My brother and I oftentimes in revenge movies, we're both big fans of Count of Monte Cristo, it comes up a lot when we talk about revenge movies because my brother Chris is never satisfied by a revenge film where the revenge taker isn't damaged more by having taken the revenge. Now, by the way, I think that most of the characters they set up should be damaged more because they're trying to make us sympathize with them so much. They're so perfectly driven just to the breaking point. They have to do this, which is preposterous. And then they go and they kill somebody, and then that person who was so wonderful until this moment, that person is now totally damaged for the rest of their life again. But some people could just do that. Some people could just do that and go back to real life and everything's fine. And in theory, those people are scarier than the people who would be damaged.
The Luce Tanya from Code Geass, when he first kills his older brother, spoiler alert, the next episode, when he backflashes to it, he throws up. It says, like, okay, maybe I'm not as tough as I thought I was. Until later on, it's like, now I'm going to commit mass genocide. Excuse me, it's all part of my plan.
Right. So,
he has, like, no qualms with it.
Anyway, my point is that there might have been some element of lack of satisfaction for you because you didn't see the consequences spread to her and you never got a chance to think of her as damaged. But I have a question. Early in the movie, when this was all going down, you knew what he was capable of.
Yes. She narrates basically his backstory.
Were you worried for her before you realized that it was all her plan?
Yes.
All right. So, do you feel that was a character betrayal?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't feel betrayed by her character. I just when I followed the movie and the twist, when I came in, it was like, oh wait, is this just the setup? It's like, is he going to knock her out or whatever? Is this thing? And it turns out, no, twist. She really knocked him out. It's like, wait, what? Oh, okay. It's like, well, that's a decent twist. All right, cool. Let's go with that. And she goes into this thing, but it just goes on and on and on. It's this whole thing, and we see her manipulate him time and again. I'm thinking, and each time this seems to happen until the end, when she has him up on the roof. It's like, it just seems like she has lesser and lesser and lesser humanity in her. And it just does not feel right. Like, she should still have humanity, and by that point, it looks like all humanity has been erased from her. She doesn't look human to me by that point.
Interesting. So
she looks more like how I would feel for him,
So you don't think revenge is human?
I don't think how she portrayed it seemed human by the end.
You don't think cold torment and mental manipulation is human? I think that's
I know that's very human, but it just didn't feel right by the time she was portraying it by that point.
You were looking for a different kind of hero. Okay, so I'm going to call foul on this a little bit because, I mean, unless you can explain how she is now actually objectively worse than him. If she's not actually objectively worse than him, then it's just there's the difference between what you thought she should be, what you expected a little girl, not a little girl, but a preteen girl should be, and what she was was greater than the difference between like some jerk in a house and some jerk in a house who also rapes and murders children.
It's just she shouldn't be him. She should have some trouble with this because she's supposed to be the normal person. But we don't see her have any emotional...
She was never supposed to be the normal person. She was always supposed to be the trap.
Yeah, that's what the movie sets it up. But to always be the trap, it's like...
During the course of the movie.
Yeah, but how does people not notice that she is that way? I'm pretty sure someone would notice something odd about her character, even just a little bit. It's just... she should have some emotion. We should see a tiny bit of struggle between her satisfaction and realizing that this is not right or something like that. We should see this tiny bit of struggle, but there was no struggle. This was entirely 100% I love this. To have me manipulate you into this whole trap. And it's like, yes, we should get a lot of that, but not entirely. It shouldn't be a total thing. We should see a momentary bit of maybe regret or
why
something that, because that portrays humanity. We should see two parts, no matter how big or small. We should always see two parts because that's human. And it was all just one. Her revenge, her loving to get her revenge all the way through. No regret, no hesitation, no side of...
There was hesitation at the beginning.
I didn't pick up on that.
But even in the middle of the story, a lot of it is am I going to do this? Then once she's doing it, though, she just runs with it.
I didn't get that. It just seemed like she was just so heartless. Completely heartless. Like, more than him. And that's what bugged me. Is that...
Well, how so more than him?
The way she expressed all her actions, motivations, and character, she just seemed less human than him. Or something. But it just seems like she had...
What's the actual difference? What did he do that was more human than her?
He actually... I don't know. He seemed... he enjoyed what he does. And I know she enjoyed what she did. But he seemed a bit more human about it.
How so? I think it's probably just because he was the victim in that situation.
Possibly.
And I'm not saying that this is complete. Like, Hard Candy's a one-note thriller. It doesn't have... It's not a greatly deep story. It's very much about exactly what it's about, which is take that child molester. And actually, I think that's too commonplace. By the way, like the fact that, talking about Dexter, I've only watched a little bit of Dexter, but the fact that there's that guy taking pictures of the kids, and Dexter just goes and kills them, and it has nothing to do with his code. It doesn't connect to anything. He doesn't even do it in his normal way, and then he doesn't think about it ever again.
Well, he does it because he's trying to form a family, so he has this maternal instinct to protect his own.
No, okay,
and that's the way he said. That's where he comes to. It's like, I kind of care about these kids.
No,
so
I know, but that's already established. The thing is that that is a break in his code. That's him killing for justice still, in his mind. Oh, no crime has happened. That's him preemptively killing casually. If he can do that, every time he comes close to that in the story, it's a big deal. In this, it isn't. That wasn't in keeping with his character. It wasn't in keeping with psychology. It wasn't in keeping with the show. It was just the writers saying, yeah, child molesters, they should die. That's all it was. And
is the power on by any chance?
No.
Oh. Can you turn the power on?
Sure.
Are you pushing my button?
Oh, I probably have it locked. correct. Go ahead.
There we go.
But I think, but that's also something you could argue that the movie that Hardcandy expresses is just the fact that like a lot of people are okay with killing child molesters. Just like, oh, that guy's not a person anymore.
I think CSI Miami had a couple episodes about that.
Did you ever see Gone Baby Gone?
No.
Gone Baby Gone's really good, and the movie is better than the book, which isn't normal, but it does happen. And part of the reason it is in the book there's this thing he does kill, in fact, a child murderer, and he's just okay with it. But in the movie, it's tearing him apart because he didn't go with the law. He didn't do his job. He just plugged this guy, and it's that's better.